my God.
Yeah. No, As the World Turns, she's like, I love Kimberly from As the World Turns. That's where I got your name from. I'm like, thanks, Mom. So anyway, so then she was talking to me, and so her and I started talking, and then I remember his mom was in the kitchen, and I believe so was his sister and him, and then they were all like quiet, and they're like, Mom is actually talking to Kim. Oh my gosh. Like, it was a big deal that she was talking to me because she doesn't talk. And then this was their, she's not racist. It's because, like, I don't know, 100 years ago, because the lady was old, 100 years ago, she got
great grandma or something.
She got like pushed down by a black person.
Oh.
And since then, she's been afraid of them.
So she's traumatized, like getting bit by a dog when you're younger, and you're traumatized forever,
exactly.
Right?
Supposedly,
I'm afraid of all dogs now.
So Kim,
don't bite
so
me.
how did that dynamic play out with your husband having a family who may have not had a lot of exposure to other races, and then now you guys have kids?
They did have exposure to other races. It's just that they were racist.
Yeah,
they did have exposure to other people, but they were just they. I mean, there was one time when I was over there, and I'm going to tell the story, Kennedy. Sorry, and
Go ahead.
we were eating dinner. It was my husband. It was his mother. It was his stepfather, but that was his dad. That's the one who raised him. And him and I, we were eating, and then for some reason she was telling me a story because my husband and his dad used to also lay blacktop and stuff like that. And so she was telling me a story about how they did this joke on this black guy at work. So she was laughing about the joke they did. But the thing she said was literally, she said, and I'll never forget, as she's laughing, she said, I'll never forget. They said they never saw a nigger run that fast.
Oh, she said that?
She said that.
Oh, those are fighting words. Those are fighting words right there.
I looked at her, and then I remember my husband, he just put his head down. He just turned his head to the ground and was red. And then his dad was like, you need to go to bed now. Come on, let's go. You're tired. So he started dragging her off.
So, but what did she say?
She did that on purpose. That's what she did.
No, you know what? You get caught up in the moment, and what you've always said just comes out instead of what.
Comes out.
That's why she did it. She didn't even think about it. She just did it.
Yeah, because I mean,
she did not even think. She did not think about it.
She was comfortable in her environment and in the situation, so she just talked.
Well, she was very comfortable because Kim's sitting right there, so obviously she's very comfortable enough to say it.
Well, yeah, but
that's my whole point. I mean,
she was just so comfortable to say it. And then I remember her husband dragged her off to bed and stuff like that. And then I remember my husband was like apologizing. Like, I should have ran then. I should have been like, you know what? I'm out. That's what I should have done. And then also, I'll never forget too. She used to sit down like my nephew, or he's my nephew, but he's older than me. So he had two little girls, and they were Spanish and black mix, and so their hair texture is different. So she used to love those little girls, and she would sit there and hold them and brush their hair and play with their hair and say how pretty they were. And all she would say, she said it to me, she said it to my sister, she said it to my mom, because my mom, they also worked there for an agency. And she would say, oh my gosh, when Kim and, my son have a kid, is their hair going to be like this? I hope to God their hair is going to be like this. I hope to God their hair is going to be like this. And then I would say, no, their hair is going to be like mine.
Why you bursting the bubble, Kim?
Yes, Kim. I like you, Kim. Yes. Fight the power. Yes.
She would just be quiet and not say, but then she'd go and ask my sister. And my sister would be like, it could possibly turn out like that. And I'm like, well, why would you tell her that if I told her their hair is going to be like mine.
Right.
We got to be on the same page.
Exactly.
So Kennedy, did you ever experience any of that kind of stuff with, and how did you deal with that if you did? Like any of the racial kind of things?
Now it's hard to say, but like with my grandparents and stuff, I didn't really experience any of that.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's
good.
They loved her.
They loved me.
They loved them. Yeah, they loved them unconditionally. I mean, they would run me and my husband over for them. They were perfect grandparents. I mean, they were really good.
So they kind of learned and adapted and adjusted to, what they knew before. That's
they adapted and adjusted. They well, I don't know if they really learned, but I think their love overcame what they were raised in, because they just like they loved them so much and stuff like that. And I remember there'd be times when my father-in-law, like, he's like, come on girls, and he would take them, and I'm like, no, I've got to comb their hair, and he's like, no, I'm just gonna put a hat on their head. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, damn. He don't get it. Yeah, he don't understand.
Anyone that did my hair other than my mom, I hated it, because no one could see my hair and it'd be a mess and I'd be so embarrassed. But my dad and my grandpa, they said,
my niece had
yeah.
Man, my poor niece had that, man. She had to end up wearing braids all the time, because that hair thing is a major.
Like,
I don't think
they would be like,
hello?
No, she's there.
Hello? We're here.
I was going to say, I don't think a lot of white people understand the importance of black women and their hair. That's like a very important thing.
Yeah.
And when you have these males that have daughters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because my dad... Oh, hold on. She's disconnected. Hold on. I'll add her. Give me a second.
Oh.
That's what happened.
She went off the... Oh,
she
okay.
got disconnected.
I thought she...
I'm sorry.
She's back.
That was my fault, because I'm not used to the AirPods, and when I press them, they hang up.
Oh, I thought you'd have stopped talking to us.
No, I press them and they hang up, and I keep forgetting that's what happens when you press them.
So have you guys?
No, Daddy, our dad never understood. I could say that's one thing. Even like when I would get, like, I used to put in like partial weaves and stuff, or I get braids in my hair. My dad's always like, "Get all that shit out of here." Literally, I'm like, you just don't understand, father.
He was so annoying with that. He would be like, "Why don't you just wear your hair?" And I'd be like, it is my hair because I bought it and I paid for it. That's what I would tell him. I'm like, I bought it and I paid for it, so it is my hair. And stuff like that.
Wear your hair out. It's beautiful.
Exactly.
Which is nice. It's nice that he said that. He wasn't like, your hair's gross or anything. He's always like, wear your hair out. It's beautiful. But I'm like, I don't want to wear my hair out. I want to put braids in.
Right.
Exactly.
It's all about the variety.
Whatever with my hair. Exactly. And then I would tell him, I'm like, you've got to learn. I'm like, black women like the salon. We go to the salon, we get our hair done. I know the people, you're not used to this, because I was the first black girl he ever dated, and then he ended up being married.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right. Oh. And your husband is kind of
I like your husband.
He's I don't have a problem with him, but I just know he is not.
He's cool.
I one thing I would say, he is not the typical white guy I would see married to a black woman. That I will say.
You know
that.
what? Everybody, let me tell you a story. So
I didn't see it.
There was a friend of Annie's, right? Oh,
keep going.
There was a friend of my niece.
I will not stop. This is all going in.
We can get it out.
She would we've been going out. I've been hanging out with them for like a year or 2 years, because like I said, my husband was always out of town. So I would hang out with Annie and this couple of her friends sometimes, and she was this Caucasian girl, and she knew I was married to somebody, but she never met him. We never said what race he was or anything like that. So one night he was in town, and then they were going to I can't remember, some country music club, which I was just like, whatever. So I went just because he likes that music and stuff.
Country.
So we went there, and then we were outside, we walked inside, and then I remember, so I came upon her friend. So she was like, "Oh my God, girl, hey, how are you doing?" And then she was like hugging me. And then I noticed she was like acting weird. And then she whispered in my ear, she goes, "Who is this guy? My God, every time you go out, guys seem to follow you all the time. And I'm going to pretend like we're together to get rid of him for you. And I was like, and I started laughing, and she's like, well, why are you laughing? I said, because that is my husband. And she was like, what? Well, what? She goes, oh my God. She goes, you're married to him? She's like, you're married to him? Someone that looks like him? She said, I would have never guessed that.
Oh, man. Oh, I love it.
I would have never guessed you were married to this type of white guy. Like, I was not expecting
he's kind of, he's kind of, like, he's kind of like a country kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
When I first saw him, I'm like, who's this guy?
Yeah, because I had a friend, though. She dated her first time ever dating a white guy. And she was like,
I remember this.
She was like, what's that? What's the game? The beanbag?
Where you toss it in the cornhole.
Yeah. So it was funny for me listening to her because she had culture shock. Like she on the other side of the coin had culture shock. She's like, he only has flip flops and he plays cornhole. And I mean, I was just like, and she was like, what is this cornhole? And I
was like, you don't know what cornhole is?
It's just the because for me, you've always kind of heard it the flip side, but I'd never heard of a black person and then having to be around a white person dating and the culture shock that she had. And she was like, and I was like, well, you just got to find someone, because he was more of a country type. And so she ended up breaking up with the guy because he, I think there was just too much differences for her, especially him being kind of country and not getting a lot of things. Because it's different when you're kind of, if you're a white person, but you get it, you know what I mean? Then versus then you're a country kind of, I hate to say country, but you're.
Go ahead and say it again.
Kind of like the Dixie flag carrying people. I mean, that's what I mean.
But that's what my husband is.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I say what I say.
I can say for a fact, Daddy's never carried one or had one of those.
No,
but it's unfortunately it's a stereotype. But that's what we're kind of like. Just to give a general description is what that's what the purpose is for.
That's exactly right, because he was upset that they took the flag off for the General Lee. He was talking about it, and I'm like, get over it.
And so how do you so for Kennedy, when you know your dad's kind of, you're more like, I guess, to the black side, and he's more of the side where they don't always get it. How do you deal with that? Have you ever had to how do you process that?
We just, the last time my dad was down, me and my sisters and my friend and my best friend were in the pool yelling at him. We were all yelling at him.
What did he do?
And her best friend's Caucasian.
We
weren't, I mean, he didn't do anything, but we weren't like yelling at him, but we were having a discussion, about just
because he doesn't get it.
It's hard. It's really weird.
To me,
here, let me talk, Mother.
Wait, no, but to me,
let me talk.
Hold on.
It seems to me that when he was here with us a lot more, it seemed like he was kind of normal. But then when he started doing more of the contracting jobs, and I don't know what they do. I don't know if it's a bunch of guys in a circle. I don't know exactly what's going on with them. But it's like he came back more like the old person that if he was still around all those people he was raised with.
Oh, okay.
Like he came back different. Like before he was a little bit more open to understanding things. But it seems like the older he got and the more that he was away from me and the girls, the more of the white, white male privileged person came back. But then he's like, oh, well, there's no privilege. And, it's, well, you guys can get, there's government loans for, women of color, and there has to be a certain amount of this people to get this job, and there has to be a certain amount of that people to get that job. And, and the world there's no racism in the world. And I'll never forget him saying, oh, we're never going to have to worry about anyone, calling our children an N-word.
What?
And the first yes, that's what he had said. And I'm like, you are in denial. Like, where are you at? Like, are you in the river or something? I don't get it. And then the first one that was called the N-word was our lightest child.
Wow. The irony.
You know this